Thank you for coming to the Hoops and Gems podcast. I'm your host, David Jones. I want to thank you guys for coming out again. Episode number 9. Thank you guys a million for staying in touch with us. We've been growing and we've been bringing on different people, and we got another lovely host coming on. We got Miss Anna Kowalska coming on from West Virginia Tech, the head coach. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good. How about you?
Oh, it's great. Great to hear. I'm doing fine. So with that being said, we're going to jump right into this. So West Virginia Tech is an NAI program, correct?
Yes, we're NAI.
Okay. And with you guys being an NAI program, how's your season been affected with COVID? Have you started, or is the season pushed back?
We actually already started.
Okay.
We already played 7 non-conference games.
Okay.
We were supposed to have a couple conference games, but we had to quarantine 10 days, so we postponed a couple games.
Okay. So just enlighten me about West Virginia Tech. Tell me where you guys are located in West Virginia, what type of style of ball you like to play, and tell me a little bit about your roster as well. We'll touch all of those.
West Virginia Tech is located in Beckley, West Virginia, more southern part of the state. We're a small institution. We have in Beckley, I think 16,000 population. I think it's a medium-sized town. It's not too big, too small. I think it's perfect for our student athletes. We're top 100 in best undergrad programs, engineering programs in the country. So we're a science school. We're in the River State Conference. We're playing a lot of non-conference games. We actually play a couple of NCAA D2 schools every year. Next year we might play a couple of NCAA D1 schools. I like to play tough competition. I think we get better by playing in better competition for sure. My roster, last year we won regular season championship. 2 years ago we won regular season championship tournament conference championship 2. Last year we went to NAI Nationals. We actually upset top 10 ranked team in the first round. We went to Sweet 16, the first time in the school's history. So we were very happy about that. And then, of course, after that first game in the tournament, they canceled our tournament due to virus. So we couldn't continue. So we had to go back home. But it was still a huge success for us winning at the national tournament. This year I have 6 seniors. 3 of them will be graduating. 3 of them decided to come back for 1 more year. My All-American point guard, my All-American guard, Brittany Justice, she's local from 50 minutes from here. She's deciding to come back, and her twin sister, actually, 32, they're twins. She's deciding to come back too. So we're excited about that. But there are 2 leading scorers from last year. We also have Alex Gray from Charleston, West Virginia. She's our top player too, forward, all-conference player from last year. And then we have a couple other seniors. Izzy, she's from Spain, and Kathy from Costa Rica, and Michaela Jones, a JUCO transfer from Colorado. She decided to come back too. So I have 3 out of 6 seniors coming back next year. Meanwhile, for this year, we have goals to win conference. I'm praying that we can stay healthy and we can do it. But we'll see. We take one day at a time, one game at a time, and then we just keep getting better. But I have a lot of experience this year, and I would love my seniors to experience that, have a senior night game and win at the tournament. And this is what you wish as a coach. You want to wish the best for your players. Especially they work really hard so far, and all my seniors, I think they're engineering, criminal justice majors, math majors, 4.0 students, graduating top in the class. We value academics here highly, and this is what I want. We want to have a really good season. So I'm hoping, again, we can stay healthy and we can play.
It'll come together. It'll definitely come together. So let me ask this, just from what you were naming right now, sounds like you recruit all over the country.
Yes, I do. I recruit the best player that can fit our program.
Okay.
A lot of my players can say I'm very I like discipline. I like hard work, and I recruit players based on what I want from them here when they come here. And academics are very high here. Engineering, science majors, nursing is huge here. Criminal justice, forensic investigation. So the players they need to be managing athletics and academics at the same time because academics are really hard here. And I have to. We have study tables and yes, so I expect them to come in and be successful on and off the court. Last year we had a GPA of 3.4 overall as a team, with having engineering majors and everything. So it's not easy to play here. I expect the greatness from all of them, and they know that. So when I recruit from all around the world and see who will best fit for our program. So we have also Italy from Italy player, a junior, and we have from Gary, Indiana, a junior who's quick point guard for us. And then we have a couple Ohio, Kentucky. I have a freshman from Kentucky, and then of course I value local players, so I want to give them a chance too. So we have a lot of local players who are successful on our team.
Okay, nice. So the little thing I want to just briefly touch on: what type of GPA do you need to get into West Virginia Tech?
I think the higher you get, the better you end up being. Probably, I think 2 point something. Probably it's enough. They also value the ACT and SAT scores,
Okay.
so you have to always combine and see what their enrollment is, and like they'll look at both things and where you're coming and from and what you want to major in. And each program here has different requirements. So if you, for example, want to be a nursing major, you have to have a 3.4 or 5 or above.
Wow.
And 3.0 to stay in the nursing program when you're here. So it's very competitive here. It's very competitive here.
So I want to touch on something. I want to touch on your experience because we share something in common. Where'd you play your college ball at?
Kent State University in Ohio.
I'm a MAC conference guy as well. I went to Toledo. So once I saw you at the Kent, I said, oh yeah, and Kent's women are usually tough too. They're usually really good. Yes, so Kent and Toledo's women are very good. Very good.
Yes. Yeah, Toledo is always when we used to play Toledo back in the day, it was always a competitive game for sure. And I respect that program a lot too.
Definitely. And when I saw that about you, I said, see, we share the MAC conference. So, I had to bring you on the show being a MAC conference person as well. And that lets me know you're definitely going to be a diehard coach, and you're going to be one of those ones that get into it because most of the MAC people, they always have to prove themselves. And they've always had that type of mentality too, where they go hard as well.
Well, and I believe this conference, MAC conference, even I'm following till today. I'm watching the games and I'm watching Kent State play now. It's a really tough conference too. There's not an easy day. I don't remember having a game that you don't have to, you have to prepare for that game to win, just because there's a high level of competition in the conference. So, and I truly believe that. And of course, I play for a really good coach. He's a Hall of Famer, Bob Lindsay, and he had a lot of success, a lot of wins, a lot of All-Americans, and I think that's why I went there, because of him and Laurie Bodnar, the associate. And I'm telling you honestly, my coaching style and what I expect from the players, I think I learned from them.
You learned from the coach.
I truly do.
I mean, it was a successful program, so I can definitely understand that. Now, tell me more about the conference, because you're in the River Conference, right?
Yes, River State
Conference, right? Mm-hmm. And who all is in the River State Conference?
We have East and West. In the East, where we are, Rio Grande from Ohio, Ohio Christian, Point Park, and Carlo from Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I don't want to miss out on any of those teams. IU East from Indiana.
Okay.
The West Side, Midway, Asbury from Kentucky. Both of them are from Kentucky, 20 minutes from each other. Then Indiana, Kokomo, Southeast from Indiana, of course, and then Brescia from Kentucky, Elsloy from Kentucky. So it's like Kentucky, Ohio, West Virginia, and then some of the PA, and then Auckland City just joined this year.
Okay.
Yes.
And that's one of the top NAI conferences, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Well, I think we're in the middle because NAI this year, NAI joined. We used to have a Division 1 and 2.
Division 2, yes.
Yes, and this year they combined all the divisions together, so we only have one Division 1. And when you're combining all the divisions, some of the smaller schools or smaller conferences are a little bit affected by it. So we're in the middle, probably middle, a little bit bottom, yes. So, but we're competitive, and 2 teams go to nationals from our conference.
Okay, so that's your expectation every year, is to try and make nationals every year, right?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, yeah, you're not in no rebuilding, especially with 6 seniors. The expectation is to win now.
Yeah, it is, and the virus, but the health is still the most important thing. So yes, we want to win, but I also, as a head coach, their health is number 1 for me. So I have to be also very careful how we do stuff and what we do, just because of the virus. And virus is pretty serious, in my opinion, it's very serious. So we have to keep that in mind when we practice, when we play. We have to follow protocols. So we'll see. We're gonna take one day at a time, and then we'll see how it goes.
Okay, nice. So also, just touching on the West Virginia Tech program, tell me a little bit more about your staff. What's the expectation, player development? Tell me a little bit more about that side of it.
Well, my assistant, actually, he's my husband.
Okay.
He was, for the past 2 years, he was at Florida State women's basketball. He was working for Sue and Brooke. He was going to school over there. He finished his master's in communication from Florida State. And he was involved with the program, and it's a top program in the nation, ACC. I mean, it's a huge. So he learned a lot from there. Great people over there. I do have to say, Sue, she's amazing. You know what I mean? As someone as powerful as she is, on the woman's side, every time when I would come over or watch the practice, she was so friendly, so helpful, and I think I learned from her too. She's someone who cares about them as a person. And I've learned from her because she has a lot of experience, and I saw how she was communicating with the players before and after the practice, and I'm watching her, I'm observing her, and I said, I want to have the same relationship with my players. I want to get to know them more, and just not as a player, not as a student athlete, but as a person. And so I learned that, and my husband, he learned a lot about the offenses, X and O's, and he was an assistant here in West Virginia Tech before he got the Florida State position. And he played here in Tech. Originally, he's from Denmark, and I'm originally from Poland. You can hear my accent. And so he's my assistant. He just came back. He's working for me, and I'm so glad because the players really connect with him. He has a lot of experience, coaching experience, and me and him, we just value them as a people. And our program is person first, student, and an athlete. And this year actually it opened my eyes with the virus because we had to quarantine a couple times, 10 days. They had to sit in the rooms. I had to sit in my house. FaceTime, very popular this year, FaceTiming. And I would just randomly call them and say, hey, how are you doing? How are you feeling? How is your family? Just to get to know them because we cannot play, so we have to know other things about the player. And this year I realized that it's not always about basketball. It's not always even about the academics. It's just as a human being and their feelings and what they believe in. And I just realized that this is just more than just about basketball. And sometimes when you coach and you have games and practices every day and you're trying to get them better, you don't have enough time to create those relationships with the players. And this year, actually, I had extra time to do that. And I just realized that they are just great people. And I'm actually thankful. There's some positive and negatives with the virus, but the positive is I got to know them more as a human beings. And I appreciate that a lot. And I know they struggle a lot. And I think every student athlete in America right now struggles, even in the world, just because they do not know if they can practice or if they can play the next day. And I think it's wonderful how we're just creating those relationships. But our program is about person first, and I tell them every day, family comes first. You know what I mean? It's you know you love those people. Those are the closest people in your life. So if there's something family emergency, they know that they can come to me, and I will always say yes, go and support, go and drive, see your family. I know a couple players that had some problems in the past, and I'll just literally sometimes I will say, don't go to the game, just go and see your family. This is emergency. You need to go and see them.
Yeah.
So we're trying to build that relationship with them, but as a person, that's what we're trying to do them. Like I always tell them as a female, as a woman, you gotta always fight for everything what you have. You have to appreciate what you have, but nothing comes easy. I had to work hard where I'm at here, and I always tell them work hard. So we try to teach them different life lessons every day, even from practices, competing. We always relate something to real life even. So even interviewing for jobs or just talking over of what people are looking for when they're hiring you. And then of course, student study tables. We focus on that every single day. I ask them about academics almost every week, especially freshmen, because our school is so tough when it comes to academics, especially the science majors. And we always try to do this. So we're investing a lot of time in as a person, student, and then at the end as an athlete, because that's why they're here. They chose this school because of our program and playing basketball. So we try to develop them as an athlete, and I take a pride in developing them as a player. And sometimes I'll recruit. I got players who they maybe had couple only offers, but I saw something in them that maybe some other coaches did not see. We develop them, and they end up being, starters for us or all conference players. And one of my twins, she got All-American second team last year, and she's only 50 minutes from here. So I take a pride in that. We're very detail-oriented coaches, both of us, my assistant and I, and we try to teach them every single day something new. It doesn't matter if it's a life lesson, if it's a basketball, if it's anything else. It's just this is what we are. We grow as a people here in this program.
So let me ask you this as well. So, especially with being an NAI program, do you give out partial scholarships, full scholarships, or do you prefer academic mixed in with athletic? What's your preference? And I'm sure from a budget standpoint, how does that work at West Virginia Tech?
Yeah, we don't offer full scholarships, so all my players have to pay some to come here. We combine academic and athletic scholarship, and sometimes if the player is not academically eligible, we're gonna help them out more athletically. But we do not offer full scholarships. Unfortunately, I wish I could help all of them, but we don't. But it is what it is. I think it is like what 2% only go to D1 on the full ride.
That's correct.
And I think players do not. Sometimes I don't think they understand that. So that's why I always tell them, just follow your heart and then pick the program that fits you, and you're gonna be happy within the program. And do we need you? Do we need you? Do we have your major? And I think some of my players, they see that now when they play so many years, they see that and they say, Coach, I see what you're saying. Like, this is what's more important is my relationship with you or your assistant or my teammates. That gym or anything else, locker room it's not really that important. At the end, it's their relationships with their players.
Okay, yeah. And what you're saying touches on a lot of things that I preach about on the show, because like you said, number one, everybody's not D1, and in your eyes, that recruit is going to be a lot more attractive if they have that 3.5 GPA and they can play, because now it makes it easier for them to be affordable to school. Like you said, you could bring in that academic, piece of money and as well as athletics. So it works out. And especially if they're a need base, if they have a full Pell or, something to that, now that whole package. And that's what I try and get people to understand. Like, okay, if I go to West Virginia Tech and if I have a 3.5 or 3.6, and then you can offer me a piece of money to go with my need base, technically I'm going almost for free, correct?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's big chance. You're not gonna have a, let's put it this way, 50 or 60,000 loan after you graduate from here, and you're gonna have a top degree. So it's, I believe, we're top school in return investment. So for what our players pay, and then after they graduate, what kind of jobs they get is a lot worth it, because just our tuition, just with nothing, like if you just come in here and pay for room and board and tuition together, it's like around 30,000. But that's including everything, and that doesn't include any FAFSA or academic or athletic scholarship. And when you pile everything else on top of it, you might end up, not paying as much, maybe less than 10,000 a year. So for that degree that you're getting, I honestly think it's worth it. It's definitely worth it. And you're on a successful program, because we're winning right now.
So one other academic question as well. So when your players leave you, what type of placement rate do they have? Do they go straight into getting jobs, or is their placement rate getting jobs high? How does that work?
Well, actually, I had two seniors last year. One graduated top in engineering major. She was a female, top, I think, 1 or 2 in her class.
Wow.
Yeah, and she was only, I think, 1 female. Like, it was crazy. She was 4.0 student, straight A's. So when she graduated from here, she right away, before she even graduated, she told me she already got a job in North Carolina. I think she's making a lot of money right now. They got her free car. She's just very happy right there. But she got a job that she wanted to get a job right away when she graduated from here. And they actually told her that they know tech, because tech is so good in engineering, that when they saw where she graduated from, they took her right away. So, and then I have other players who graduate with biology majors here, and they get into med school. We have one senior, she just got into the med school in WVU.
Okay.
And another player getting into other schools. So then we have some psychology too. So you can see we have players who are graduating with engineering major or criminal justice, forensic. They're getting a job right away, or they want to continue education and they get into med school. And our school prepares for med school for sure, because I know my players are telling me that, we passed the test to get in, or so we're very highly respected in this country when it comes to sciences.
Okay, that's something, and I learn something every day. I did not know that, but I will definitely keep that in mind. That's a good look for West Virginia Tech as well. Definitely good look. I'm originally from Pittsburgh, but I did not know much about West Virginia Tech until we started to talk, and I said, "Oh man, this is interesting here." I mean, of course, I knew about the NAIAs, but I didn't know. One of the big things about NAIAs, I did not know how highly regarded an NAIA school could be, and this is the education for me right here. Definitely, that's awesome right there. I'm impressed. Let's just put it like that. Definitely impressed. And to go with, like you said, you guys are winning. Oh, you got the best of both worlds right now. Definitely.
Yes, I believe so. I think there's a lot of NAIA schools that you look at them and say, we're just small, and there's not a lot of publicity about NAIA and those small schools. Everyone knows WVU, West Virginia University, and we're a sister school of that school. Actually, we were supposed to play WVU, I think, this year. So I'm not sure that's going to happen in the future because of the virus. We had to cancel, but we're only 3.5 hours from there. And we're, like I said, we're the engineering school of WVU. So that's why. But I honestly too, I played at the Kent State NCAA D1. And when I took this job as an assistant, I think 8 or 9 years ago, I was just finding out about NAIA, and I'm actually really impressed. I'm going to be honest with you. I didn't realize how high the competition is in NAIA.
Yes.
We just played, I think, when was it? Last semester, we just played officially their #1 team in NAIA. And we got beat by a lot, I'm not going to lie. But you look at that team and you're like, wow, like, this is ridiculous. Good coaching, disciplined, they can shoot. It was just amazing to see this. And coaches, the same thing. Really good quality coaches in this level.
And that's the misconception a lot of time about NAI, because there's some really good players in NAI. And also, I mean, I'm sure you can attest to this since you've been there. There are players from NAI that go overseas and play on the women's side, correct?
Yes, that's for sure. Yeah, so we might have a couple players in the future. They're thinking about playing overseas too. So, and then
Okay.
I have in the conference, we had a couple players who went overseas and they played and they were successful. So there's D1 players transferring to NAIA.
Oh yeah, definitely. All day. Definitely.
There's,
And like you said earlier as you were speaking, it's about the fit where you go. Like, yes, you played at Kent State, but everybody's not Kent State material, And would you rather go to Kent State and sit on the end of the bench, or would you rather go to West Virginia Tech and play, be an All-American, of course, and have that opportunity to go overseas and play professionally? We're talking the long game here, not just like we say the glitz and glamour and the shining lights.
yeah,
That's the
yeah.
best fit. That's the best fit.
Yes, and I always tell them, I'm very competitive. I am. I mean, I played at the D1, and even it doesn't even matter what level you play, but the competitiveness that you have, and my players see that too. And honestly, I was surprised how competitive it is in this level, and I'm realizing now. And honestly, like I like this level a lot. I do, and we see a lot. And honestly, I learned a lot from even those great coaches around in NAIA. I'm just following them. There's some younger and older coaches who know tons about the game and X and O's and everything else. So I'm trying to learn from them right now. And every time when we play a team and I see a coach, we always talk about the game and the players, and I'll ask the questions. What would you recommend for a younger coach? Like I keep learning every day, and it's amazing how many good coaches are at this level.
And you're touching on great points, because this needs to be heard and it needs to be said, because, everybody, like you said, has that D1 or bust. Not everybody, let me take that back, but a lot of people have that D1 or bust mentality. And to think, if you go to West Virginia Tech, you're getting a great education. Little did I know it was that high of a quality education, and you guys are good.
Yes. Well, I hope we're good this year.
Well, you'll be fine. Especially with season. You got experience. That counts a lot with experience. And just one final thing: if you were talking to me as a parent, and you were recruiting, if I had a daughter, which I don't, I have a son. Why West Virginia Tech? Because you're talking to a bunch of people out here that are listening. Why West Virginia Tech?
Because we value your opinion, number one, as a person. You will have a voice here when you come in. We generally care about you as a person here. You will have a great education, and you're going to be on a great team. If you want to learn as a person, as a student athlete, and you want to accomplish something, and you have goals in your life, and you want to graduate and be someone bigger, this is the right place for you. And I know that West Virginia, people talk about West Virginia, but West Virginia is actually, and I lived in Ohio, and I lived in Chicago too. My family is from Chicago. Okay. And when I came here, it's such a friendly environment. People here are so good to you, so nice. You have that one-on-one help every single day. Because if you come to my office and say, Coach, I want to be All-American, or I want to be All-Conference, or I want to be engineer when I graduate from here. I want to make money, or I want to be successful as a female in this world today. I'm going to make this happen for you. As long as you have that love for the game and for your future and that goal in your life, this is the right place to you, because I'll do anything in my power to help you achieve this at the end. Because like I said, it's just more than the ball. I mean, it's everything else. And I tell my players every day, if you want to make a change, you have to work for it, and you have to be in a position to make a change. So I tell them, go to law school, go to criminal justice, be a cop, be in a position where you can make that change. By you sitting in your room and watching Netflix, this is not going to happen to you. You have to go and get it, especially as a female. And they understand that, and I tell them this every single day. Life is not easy, and we all know it. It's not. You'll have people who will not want you to see you successful. But I tell them every day, you gotta fight and you need to work for it. And I think I show them that even from myself, my assistant coach, we work long hours for everything what we have. And they see this, our preparation for practice, our preparation for the game. And I tell them the same thing. You gotta prepare for everything what you have in your life. You gotta work for it because no one's gonna hand it to you. And they see that every day. They see it, and I tell them every day. And I think they're tired of me saying that, but I know they can do it. I have some smart players on my team. I have great people on my team, and I want to see them successful. I want to see them more successful than anyone else. And I always tell them, I'm like, and honestly, I think they like me. They respect me because a lot of them wants to stay extra year here. So they don't hate me that much. They might hate me during the practice. They might hate me during the practice when I make them run. But at the end, I think they do like me. I mean, a little bit at least. We'll see. But so far, I enjoy them a lot. But this is what our program is: family, 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 and I'm always there for them. My assistant is always there for them, and I always tell my recruits, we will always be there for you. But if you do not have goals set, if you do not want to be good and you don't want to work hard, this is probably not the right place for you. Okay. You got to be serious about academics and basketball in order to survive here for 4 years.
Definitely. Well, Coach Kowalska, I definitely appreciate you coming on the show and introducing the whole Southeast to West Virginia Tech. Like I said, I'm sure you'll see some players that may interest you in the Atlanta area, and now some players may see your program, and you may get some tweets or some DMs now asking and inquiring about your program. So I want to thank you again for coming on. You did an excellent job in, introducing us to West Virginia Tech, and I just wanted to thank you.
No, I want to thank you for everything. I really do. I really appreciate your time.
Oh, no problem. And like I said, we will definitely stay in touch, and hopefully me and the producer can get up there and take a look at West Virginia Tech and see what they have to offer as well, okay?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Well, you take care, and thanks again for coming on the show. We'll be in touch soon, okay?
Yes, thank you so much.
You're welcome. You take care. Great coach, great up-and-coming coach with Coach Kowalska. And listen, I'm learning every day, with NAIAs, D3s, and D2s. I didn't really know there were high academic NAIA schools. Hey, learn something new every day. My next guest definitely doesn't need an introduction. Everybody knows about the renowned IMG. We got Coach Chad Myers. How you doing, man?
Tonight.
I'm doing good, man. We just got together last month at the IMG Classic. Definitely an awesome ran event, and I left beyond impressed. What you guys got down there is just next level. Definitely next level. I was like, geez, this is a college down here. But let's touch on IMG a little bit outside of athletics. What does IMG bring from a educational standpoint when you go to IMG?
Very unique place. I think one of the most undervalued things is actually the education at IMG. A lot of resources for our students. We actually have 1,300 students on campus. So like you said,
Really?
It's really a college. I was at Radford for a couple of years as an assistant coach. It's really like a small college,
Yes.
Division I size campus. And not just obviously the talent and the facilities and all that, but, having resources from head of schools. We obviously have, each team has their own liaison and academic side. We have nutritionists, strength coaches, professors. We have some guys on our team that obviously can take college classes through the University of South Florida on our campus as well. So I think, we kind of get a knock in some ways, being a basketball, football, sports academy that started off as tennis, but I don't think people really realize how serious and how actually, tough the academics are at IMG, because we're trying to prepare everybody to obviously be successful at the next level.
I didn't know you had that program with South Florida. I thought you guys just had the JUCO connection, but man, that's a good look right there.
Yeah, it's really good. We have a lot of teachers here that work with our guys in those classes. Obviously, a lot of stuff this year just because of, the COVID, a lot of stuff's virtual, but we still have, actually a guy, BJ Potter, that's done college athletics for a long time that helps all our players out with the South Florida classes as well, brings them in, obviously checks on those guys or does extra study hall or anything they need as well. So.
Okay. And man, that's impressive right there. Now let's touch on those dogs you got, man, and you got a bunch of them down there. Goodness. But one of the things I wanted to ask you about with IMG, what is the placement rate for those guys that you have? Like, everybody just has this conception, like if you go to IMG, oh, you're just automatically going, not really D1 per se. Well, that top team I can understand, but those other teams, like you guys are open to placing guys at D2, D3 in AI, right?
Yeah, 100%. I think everything is about fit. And obviously you saw we had 2 teams in the event. And I think everybody's got to go to the right level that's successful for them. And that's what we really try to do a job at. And I think everybody's wants are different. And I tell guys, some people want to be really good Division III basketball players and have a major role. Some guys might have a goal of actually being a Division I walk-on. Obviously, some of the elite guys like Kenyon Martin last year, it's going to the NBA, and some of the guys on the roster this year are kind of set at the levels and the places they're going.
Yeah.
But I think those next group of guys are the ones that, what prep school basketball is about. And hey, Dave, a lot of people don't know this about me, and I've been fortunate to coach a lot of good players, but I played at Hargrave back in the day, and I actually played Division II at Shepherd University, which was actually the same league. West Virginia Tech was in the same league at that time.
Oh, wow.
Now they're NAI. At that time, they were Division II, and we were all in the same conference. So my next stop after being a prep school player, we had a lot of good players on my team, but it was a Division II scholarship that helped propel me into my coaching career. So I tell our guys in our program, I said, I was more like some of you guys that weren't a top 50 ESPN guy and all that stuff, that came here and I was prepared and had a successful college career and moved on into coaching. And obviously these guys want to do different stuff. And I think that's what prep school is about, is helping guys get to the right level, and obviously whatever level that may be.
Definitely. And what you just touched on, I mean, most of the people that are familiar with IMG know that your facilities are amazing, your trainers are amazing, the food, the facilities, the dorms, and, what about those guys? You have 2 teams, right, this year, correct?
Yes.
So,
go ahead.
No, so technically you can't take everybody that wants to come to IMG, right?
No, we can't. And one of the unique things is about our second team is the guys that coach that team. I don't know how much you got a chance to see them play, but John Rhodes and Jimmy Carr have both been longtime Division I assistant coaches, and that's the main thing I think about IMG that's unique from everywhere else. Our director, Brian Nash, was the head coach at St. Francis, New York. He's in charge of all basketball at IMG. We obviously have my team and then the national team I put on ESPN the last couple of days that everybody kind of knows those guys. And then we actually have another technical director, Mike Gillian, that was the head coach at Longwood, and his last stop was at FIU. He was with Jim Larinaga at George Mason. And then we have a college placement guy, Dan Barter, that's probably been here longer than anybody on staff, that's been at IMG for almost 20 years. So all of us come together in meeting rooms, what you would kind of call like a war room, right, and try to figure out how we can help each kid in our program, guy or girl, whether it's moving up to the JV level or the varsity level. But as with our group is obviously finding the right college placement. And with all of our contacts, it's really beneficial for all the players in our program because we all work together to make sure they can get to that next step.
Wow, that's big. That's big. Now, we're getting ready to touch a little bit of the conversation that I've spoken with a couple post-grad coaches. Now, we know the NETSAC is the granddaddy of them all. And you coming from Hargrave, that's the military circuit as well.
Yep.
What is your take on putting this all together and becoming one big national thing, since we both know that post-grad is taking off and it's really becoming popular now? When I say, I see the military circuit. I love Hargrave. I love Fork Union. I love Massanutten. They have their thing going on. IMG just does what they want because, you guys can travel. You have the means to do that. But one of the things that popped in my mind when I came to see you guys, like you had some teams from the Midwest, like Link Gear. You had teams from all over. And I'm like, man, as a fan myself, I'm dying to see the nice independent teams go against the NetSac teams, go against the military teams, go against those teams that we don't even know about yet. Like there's some good West Coast teams like, Phoenix Prep out there and Arizona Compass. I think it's time to see who's going to be that next Gonzaga of the post grad, so to speak.
Yeah, no, 100%, David. I don't know if you know this for sure, but I was the head coach at Massanutten for 5 years. So I was there actually before I came to IMG. In the 5 years I was there, we went to the national tournament all 5 years. Probably the most notable alum would be Frank Mason that played at Kansas.
Yes.
But also did have Brandon Suggs that's obviously at McEachern there that went to East Carolina. And our kind of idea at the time, it was me, Lee Martin, that's now assistant at Ohio, and Matt Donahue at Fourth Union. We actually sat down at a restaurant in Charlottesville and came up with the military circuit to try to get as many teams. And we kind of wanted to have a weekend, kind of like what we did at IMG when you were down here, where we had certain weekends where we could get teams from across the country that they could circle in their calendar, that maybe we could get those teams from the NEPSAC or whether it's the Link Years or Sunrise or whoever else.
Yeah.
Hey, 2 or 3 weekends you could travel to Virginia, and you're going to always get the 3 military schools in Virginia because we always go up there. We go up to NEPSAC, and Adam Finkelstein does a tremendous job running the national tournament, but it's always in New England, so we all go up there 2 or 3 times a year, and then that's the preseason. And then last year he ran the hoop hall event with the prep schools in conjunction with the high school hoop hall. And then we play in the national championship in New England as well. So I think my take on it's very unique because I was at the militaries as a head coach and kind of came with the military circuit, but I was also the head coach at Elevate for 2 years in South Florida. So when I was there, we had a bunch of guys that went to play Division I, and we made the national tournament both years there too. So I agree with you. There's a lot of different levels. There's a lot of different places. I've always been able to go to the national tournament, fortunately, as a head coach, the 7 years, and then the last 2, hopefully this year, again at IMG. But we've always had to go to New England the whole time. So it's obviously unique with a part of where the other unique thing about it is the first year that I was an assistant at Hargrave, I worked with Kevin Keats. It's now at NC State. And we had George Crawford, Mike Scott, Mike Beasley was at Notre Dame Prep. The first national tournament ever was actually at UDC in Washington, D.C. So it has been outside of New England. And the second year was actually at Fordham. We actually won it. We beat Findlay Prep because at that time Findlay Prep had actually a prep school team. They didn't have a high school team. They had a prep school team. So they had DeAndre Liggins, David Dolkus, and went to Florida State, a kid Gutierrez, and went to California. So they were really, really good, and we were both undefeated. So you had 2 teams, kind of like what you're saying, Hargrave from Virginia and Findlay Prep from Vegas, playing at Fordham for the national title. But then ever since then, it's been in New England. So, yeah, I agree with you. I think the tables have turned in some ways of having more talent and more teams. And I think our team is probably as talented as anybody in the country. Obviously, Hargrave is good. Lake Year's good. So I think we got to keep trying to win as many games as we can, and then hopefully we get a chance to, move it. And this could be the year, right, with COVID and different places playing games and not I know we just want to play for a national title anywhere that could possibly be in a safe environment, so we're up for it. For me, selfishly, of course, I would love to have it in Florida. And my sell is it's warmer weather in Florida than it is in New England in March, right? So that's a good thing too.
That's true. And I think my take on this was, like I said, even being down at IMG, like I said, the event was amazing. And let's just take out the quality of it, but the teams. Yeah. The teams were really good. And even you were telling me some teams couldn't come because of COVID. And I was thinking, man, it could have been better than this. Goodness.
Yeah, we thought we were going to get a couple of NEPSAC teams. Sunrise was coming up to the last minute. So, I mean, we had Mount Zion. Scotland's probably going to come next year. So I think the one thing that you really have to do is to give these teams options. And everybody wants to just come here. But we're placing there before Christmas. Another thing is that, I took a hit this year, but I thought our event went really well, is that we want to back it up right to the City of Palms. So that was kind of the weekend we selected because we thought that weekend and the Thursday, Friday would run right into the City of Palms, which helped us gain national media attention and the national high school teams down here and helps us get some of the
that would have been awesome. Yeah, if you you'd had your event right before City of Palms, right?
Yeah, that's what we're looking to do, obviously, next year. So we think that'll help with everybody. And, it really came off really good. We appreciate you coming down and the people that came. And I thought the games were really good and a good experience for everybody. But we really want to try to grow this thing and even, make it better than it was this year. So.
You know what? And I kind of like the idea of what you just said of backing that on a national tournament. Like, we have Hoopsgiving here. When everybody knows about Hoopsgiving, and that wouldn't be a bad idea to have a post-grad event connected to Hoopsgiving as well, man, or right before it.
No, I agree.
That's a great idea right there, man.
A lot of teams too, they go on break. So like for us, a lot of people go on Christmas break and Thanksgiving break, and so many of these prep schools that are, there's the brick and mortar prep schools like we are that
yes,
guys go on break for a week, so we can only house so many guys. So that was another thought. Hey, it's City of Palms. The kids come here, they can play, they can go home for Christmas and then come back to school and play the second semester. So we really try to be, strategic about placing it there, and we really hope to grow this thing for sure.
Yeah, definitely. And man, just when I was sitting there with some of the scouts, I mean, all of them were like, "Oh yeah, this is it right here.
Yeah.
This is it." And like I said, when I got done talking to you, I was already making my reservation for next month. I was like, "Oh yeah, I'll be back next month. This is amazing right here." But I want to talk about the success stories of IMG, because people don't always talk. Everybody knows the 5-stars and the 4-star kids. Tell me about like those 2 and 3 or no-star kids that come to IMG and knock it out of the park.
Yeah, I think the place really sets you up for success because you learn how to manage your days, whether it's academically. We have full-time strength coaches, like I told you. So it's really a college environment. And it kind of segues into your next guest, I know, but we had a kid last year, Tabor Palinkas. It's at Clayton State now. And really small world. I saw coaches on there earlier. And he just was on the high school national team, won a national title, didn't play a ton on that team. Last year, he was on my team, starting to really turn the corner. Actually had an injury to start the year. And then he didn't play the rest of the year for us. But every single day as he was rehabbing with our medical people, all that kind of stuff, got better, stronger. I received a text message just past Saturday night, and he scores 11 points in his first game at Clayton State, after a whole rehab. So that's one of the things, to me, that's what this is about. Like prep school, we talk about like a kid that goes to prep school, puts the time in, works and works. He's even in a very unique situation because he goes on to obviously getting here, getting hurt, all that stuff, and still kind of like stay in the course. And now he's being successful at Division II. And then we have guys like on this year's roster, the kid Javier Escares, the point guard that you saw play for us. That's really good. Just got an offer from Wagner the other day, got an offer from Manhattan before that. His recruitment's starting to pick up. Didn't have Division I offers before this year. The other kid from Allentown, Nick Felchner, is starting to get recruited, the likes of American, James Madison, St. Joe, places that can really shoot at 6'6" wing. Those guys are obviously really benefiting from this year and obviously the extra year and the conditioning and kind of showing they can play at a higher level and play against good competition as well. In the game that you were actually at, 2 of our guys, Lynn Greer and Cordell Charles, didn't even actually dress because they were coming off injuries. So some of those other guys really got a chance to step in and play.
Yeah, and I mean, it was a great game. I mean, it was the last game, and that was one of the best games against Link here. And I said, man, I was impressed with both teams. I mean, you guys just stayed the course. I mean, because the pace of that game and the momentum was just shifting back and forth. And I even tweeted out about it. I said, this is as close to a college game as you're going to get right here. Yeah. That game was amazing right there. My hat's off to both of you guys right there. If anybody could watch that game, if it's on YouTube or wherever, that game was amazing right there. It was high level. It was intense. I mean, and the scouts were on the sidelines like, wow, this is really good here. This is really good.
No, Coach Adam does an unbelievable job, and I kind of knew that. And selfishly, strategically, whatever it was, I wanted to play them last because I knew it would be a great test for us. I thought we needed that. I knew how good his team was. I know how good a job he does. I'd seen him play before. I'd seen him in the national tournament before. So I think for both of us, we kind of wanted to end the tournament with that game. So I thought it would be good for everybody, the scouting services, our players, both teams. Obviously we're on the best case side that we won the game, but either way, I think we could have learned from that game, and that's the level you'd have to play at to win a national title. And he does a great job. I mean, the offenses they're running, the defenses, and obviously just the talent. I mean, they got guys going to St. John's, FIU, Porter's, obviously brother's really good. His team's loaded. He's got 9, 10 probably Division I players on that team as well. And I was in the Big South for a while, and that game is as high level as any game you're going to get at a lot of Division I levels.
Exactly. And that was my point exactly. And I mean, Chad, that game was right there. But, one of the other things I wanted to talk about, man, with you guys being in Florida, there's a lot of post-grads in Florida that are definitely really good as well. I mean, of course, Mount Verde is good, and especially their high school team is really good. You have the T-Labs, you have the Central Points, you have a number of up-and-coming programs that could really make the state of Florida almost to the point where you all can almost have your own league.
Yeah, no, I really think so too. And I think the one crazy thing is that a lot of these people don't know how good these teams are. And I actually listened to Adam talk on your, podcast that, T-Lab's good, DME's good, Montverde's good, Miami Prep is really good. They've done a good job there. Triple Threat is good, So one of the scariest things for us are people don't know how good some of these teams are, and we get to play them all. So, they're always gunning for us too, so we got to be ready. But I think it really helps us prepare because there are so many good teams in the state of Florida, and the word's not really out about how good some of these teams are. But I think as you follow this as it goes forward, and guys going to college, you can kind of really tell that there were some really good players. I mean, the kid at T-Lab, Jaquan Scott's going to be really good.
He's a monster. Man, I caught him at my event in Orlando, and I was like, who is this guy? Why haven't I heard about him?
And then the kid last year, the kid at Iowa that's playing really well, that was at DME, has been really, really good. That was there. And I mean, he had like double-double the other day in the game. And then there was a kid at Miami Prep last year that went down to Arkansas State that the other day had a double-double, that was there. So I think you're right. There's so many good teams, and Atlanta area is really starting to grow. I mean, Skill Factory's done a great job. Core 4 was really good last year. I think they'll get back and running next year and be good again, and I think Middle Georgia was good down at our event. So I think the Southeast has really grown tremendously in post-grad basketball for sure.
And that's why, like you said, that's what leads into all of this. You just said it. The Southeast is growing, and we're just talking about the Southeast. We're not even talking about Texas and the Midwest and the West Coast because, they have some good schools out there with Balboa, and, they have UTU. We know about Sunrise. We know about the rest of those schools. I honestly think it's almost that time. Where the championship is at, I mean, yes, it's always up in the Northeast. I really don't even care about that. I just want to see a quality, maybe 30-team tournament. It doesn't have to be 64 because I don't even think there's 64 really good teams yet. Yeah. But like you said, let's start with 32 or 24. I know that would be amazing. I know it would be.
No, 100%. And it has grown a little bit. My first year at Massillon would have been 2011, I think, and 12. There was only 8 teams in the national tournament. So I think last year there was 13 or 14. But I agree. I think there could get it probably needs to be like 16, and it probably needs to get to 24 eventually and continue to grow. The one thing is obviously, budget and teams got to go, and the reality of rent gyms and overnight and all that stuff. So I think any sponsorship somebody could get in to help. Obviously, Adam and all that stuff would help the cause as well. Because obviously he does a lot for footing the bill and kind of picking some stuff up with all those teams. But I think it has grown a little bit. But I think, like you mentioned, Golden State Prep, we played them in the fall the last year. They're really good. They're doing a good job. And they've had a couple top 100 kids. And, they went actually up to the hoop hall last year and competed against some teams that were pretty good. So I think it is growing. I think people are starting to get kind of a realization by Skill Factory going last year with Kai Soto and those guys playing Putnam Science right to the wire in the fall. I think those things are really helping obviously grow because you got to go up there and play, and you play against good teams and you take them to the wire, and then obviously people gain notice. So.
I agree 100%. I mean, I'm just looking at this from a perspective of this product is still in its infant stage, but I see it as it's growing to, you can definitely see this is going to be something special in a very short time. Very short time.
I always have thought I know everybody has their thing about which area is the best and which level of basketball is the best. I've always been really biased. I think prep school basketball is the most close to college because everybody's 18 and 19 years old for the most part, so you're playing against other mature, not grown men yet, but you're as close, even in the elite level of high school basketball, you might still have some teams, whatever league it's in across the country, that might have a freshman or sophomore playing. And that guy's just not physically ready yet. Eventually, he might end up being a higher level player than somebody else. But I think our games and our national tournament games and teams, it's just the closest level to college basketball because you're playing against other guys that would be college freshmen. So I think just the bumping and the ground and the physical play, I think, is different than anywhere else.
So, Chad, let me ask you real quick. At IMG, does everybody have to go to class, or is that optional?
You do not have to. We actually do have some sport-only guys.
Okay.
Then there's actually a couple different ways you could take class. You could take the college classes like we touched on. Mm-hmm. And then also, there's also obviously repeat college classes. So you know, when you, I mean, not college, high school classes. So when you go, if a kid needs to improve in math, English, science, whatever it might be to help his GPA combined with his test score, we can also help in that case. Those NCAA rules have changed a little bit with obviously the 10 cores that are frozen after the 6 semesters. And then obviously the 16 has to be done. So it's a little bit different than it used to be, obviously, when I was playing. But there's still, you know, a kid might be able to approve 1 class or 3 classes and take the test again. So we have some guys that might come here and do that as well. And then we have some kids that might be fully qualified that don't take any classes. But, you know, we really like for a lot of our guys to take classes.
Okay. I mean, like I said, man, I mean, you're doing an awesome job down there, man. Dr. Love is saying that too, man. I mean, everybody knows the work you're putting in down there, and it's evident. I mean, I was already impressed, you know, before I even got there, but I just left even more like, man, I see why IMG is IMG, definitely. And, you know, to take those facilities and, you know, the strength and conditioning, I mean, everything is top level. So if a kid doesn't prosper from that, I hate to be mean when I say that, that's on the kid, because you guys are presenting every opportunity possibly. And then, I mean, you travel nationally, you have the connections, everything you would ask for in a post grad, you guys have, basically. I mean, you check all the dots.
Yeah, no, I was in a really good situation, David, and we had been good. I thought I would never leave unless I was going to go to college again. Then when this opportunity came up, it's just different. You know, you said you were here. We're building a brand new facility right now. It's going to have an arena court, 3 more basketball courts, which will give us 8 courts on campus. Obviously, there's the hotel on campus. We have full-time strength coaches, all this stuff. So it's just a very unique place. And the first speech I gave to our team last year when I came from Massanutten was, hey, guys, I've been a lot of places, and, you know, Hargrove's a unique situation I was in. They've been really, really successful in multiple pros. I said, this place is unlike any other. We have every resource, but those are just resources. You got to put them to use, you know, but we have no excuses because our resources are really good, you know. And I think that's a big thing in prep school. Everybody thinks because you go for 10 months, you're going to be a better player. And I'm a huge believer, you know, 10 months doesn't make a difference. It's what you do with the 10 months, you know. And
exactly.
If a kid's in Atlanta right now, let's say, and he decides he wants to be a post grad next year, well, he should start working now, you know, not working like next August or next September and all that stuff. You know, it starts now. And all the guys, you know, from being an assistant at Hargrove and seeing Luke Hancock, you know, go be the MVP of the Final Four that had Division III, or multiple guys we had at Massanutten, all those guys that were successful, all were the hardest workers, first ones in the gym, you know, worked as soon as they decided to make the decision and all that stuff. And I do think, though, our resources are second to none. So if you get here and you don't like it or you don't take advantage of it, then it's almost, you know, shame on you a lot. But, like, you know, we remind them every day, and we're fortunate to have what we have, but let's not take for granted what we have.
Definitely. Now, I got one curiosity question as well. You guys don't really need to recruit. I would have to assume you get letters and people contacting you left and right. So you guys don't really step out there to say, hey, we really want you. I mean, of course, at the level was Monty Bates, then yeah, of course. But you guys, that's not big for you guys, right?
Yeah, I mean, we do a decent amount more recruiting than you would think.
Really?
So all those guys this year, obviously on my team, I did, you know, crazy time, but during the pandemic, I did in-home visits with a lot of those guys, or met somewhere, you know, went around previous relationships. I think the hardest thing about prep school coaching is being able to mold a team together. I think it goes unnoticed. You know, I say it's almost like Kentucky or Duke. You know, you get all these guys that are supposed to be good, but
yeah,
that don't mean you're going to be good, right? So it's just like, and you got to do it every year, new group, new team. So I think the best thing about our group so far this year is, you know, we really like playing together and we play really hard. We're unselfish, and it's easy. You know, we have the 3 kids ranked in the top 30 in the country in ESPN, and then we got the kid going to LSU who's now in the top 100. And he's as talented as anybody. And then
yes, he is.
Other 2 guys that were in street clothes that were obviously top 150 kids, and then, you know, obviously all the other guys at the bench could be Division I players. So I think molding those guys together is the hard part, and picking the right guys that fit. You know, so it's like, you can't have 10 point guards. You can't have 10 big guys. You got to have right pieces that kind of mesh well together. And then personalities got to mesh too, which I think is a challenging part for a lot of, you know, in any high school program that's been successful for a long time. If you get good players, don't mean you're always going to be good. It don't mean you're going to win.
True. Now, out of that team, the one person that struck me wasn't the horses. I just want to ask you, where's the point guard going to end up going? I like him.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. Javier Scaris. He had 0 Division I offers going into this year. And he just got offered by Wagner, Manhattan, started to pick up, a little bit of mid-major stuff, a couple other schools that once they offer, it'll be out there, and I'll put it out there. I don't want to call anybody out today, but it's his recruitment's really picking up. But I think he's got a high level of sense of belief. He's got a lot of toughness. He's not afraid to make a play. I thought in the game against Lincoln, he made a ball screen 3, 66-66. That could have been the biggest shot of the game. And
yes,
a lot of guys are afraid to shoot that shot. He plays with a strong sense of belief. And I think he's ready to run a Division I program right now because he's doing it right now at a high level. So
and that's what I was going to touch on. I can't speak on this. I would think when that kid came in, it was some time for him to adjust of running that type of offense with that type of players.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And you can see he's slowly starting to get it.
Yes.
You know what I mean? You can see it.
I think he always could make plays, passes. He's skilled. But I think he's really starting to learn how to run the team and where to get the ball, and that's going to get you ready. That's what we tell our guys, man. This is going to get you ready for Division I. You don't have the ball in your hands every play. And when you get there, if you're a freshman, that guy's a junior and senior, and he's all conference, you better be able to get him the ball. If not, you're not going to play.
Exactly. And you have to learn other things. And that's one of the things on the podcast, Chad, that I preach all the time. If you're a 25-point scorer in high school, you better learn to do something else when you get to college as a freshman, because 9.5 times out of 10, you're not going to be that guy to score. You better sit down and play some D. You better do something else besides score, or you will be watching. Can we agree on that?
Yeah, no, 100%. You got to bring value, and everybody's value is different. You got to – I think another thing is, and it helped even at the hostel, last year when Kenyon Martin got drafted, a lot of people didn't think that he might get drafted. One of the biggest things every NBA scout said about the process is that he didn't get too far out of his box. He didn't really take bad shots. He didn't play out of pocket. He didn't dribble the ball too much. He just took open shots. He ran. He was obviously athletic, and he worked on his game. But his thing today is you got to – with 4 NBA guys or no, if you're ever going to get in the game for the Rockets, and you better get the ball to the guys that need the ball and be able to defend, rebound, and maybe with the towel if you have to. But you can't cause issues. All that stuff all has value. We preach that to our guys every single day because I think we're judged obviously getting them there, but we want them to be successful when they get there. So,
okay. Hey, Hargrave, and as Chad will tell you, Hargrave, man, they play hard. They play extremely hard. And when you don't think they don't stand out like the IMG, but man, when they get on the court, you better suit up and play. Because if you don't, they're coming for you.
Yeah, no, up tempo, fast has been like that for years since Keith was there and I was there. And they're talented. I think people give them a misconception. They might not look as imposing as we roll out there, 2 7-footers, but the kid Kelly from Atlanta is really good. Obviously, the guard going to Georgetown is really good. The point guard's way undervalued. And I think they got another big kid obviously going to Arizona State. So they have good players. And I know he was coming there. It was a great game last year. We actually ended up coming out winning 100-95, but could have went either way. It was a good game. So that's one of those, right? We got to find a place to play this national championship so we can get all the
Thank you. Hey, Chad, man, I appreciate you, man. From the time we talked, man, I already spoke highly of the program, and I told you I'll be back. Well, I'm already going to be there next month. That's hands down. I'll be there. But, man, thank you for coming on the show, man. This is big time, man. I appreciate you taking some time out of your busy schedule to come on, man. I mean, for anybody that's been under a rock that doesn't know about IMG, they know about them now. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no. I appreciate you having us on, Dave, and obviously been successful. We've had some good players. I had Suggs at Massanutten, and then obviously I had Alan Breed down in McEachern last year here at IMG. So great area, a lot of talent. And, obviously we'll see us probably some in Atlanta recruiting this summer as well, too.
Oh, I'm sure. I hate that they may not have any shoe events because I know I would see that IMG at those shoe events as well.
Yeah, no doubt.
Hey, man, well, you take it easy, man. And again, man, thanks a million for coming on the show, man. We'll be in touch real soon so I can get my stuff together for next month.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Look forward to seeing you again in February.
Okay, man. Take care, Chad.
Thanks.
All right. Chad Myers from IMG does an excellent job. I mean, that's one of those schools where it's IMG. And until you can get on that campus and see what they do and see the facilities and, like you said, I mean, it's second to none. I mean, there are plenty of colleges that don't have what IMG has. And if you want to get better, and that's not no knock on any school, it's just a situation where, man, if you want to get better, they have everything that you need athletically, academically. And there's some postgrads that, sometimes they can have one but not the other. They have both. And they compare to any NETSAC school from an athletic or academic standpoint. They have some really good programs down there. My next guest, kind of special to me. We're from the same hometown. Coach Lance Inez, how you doing, man?
I'm doing well, David.
Oh, man, good to hear from you, man. I get personal. I always tease the producer, about Pittsburgh and, the type. Well, what people don't know, we have a lot of coaches out there that people do not know about, right?
No, you're right. It's I was on another podcast the other day, and they're just asked about why the Pittsburgh connection, like why you guys so close, and it's I don't know. I mean, I explained it's kind of a small big city, and we all just once we find out we're from Pittsburgh or somebody's from Pittsburgh, it's just an instant connection.
Exactly. And then people don't tend to think that because they always categorize us as a football town, you know what I mean? But I mean, a lot of people coming to me, man, I didn't know you. Sometimes like, yes, there's a bunch of us from Pittsburgh.
Yep.
Just like Coach Gravel Craig, that is a coach at Spire. I didn't even know he was at Spire. I was like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, I went up to him yesterday. I said, man, I did not know you were the coach, man. Are you kidding me?
Right.
And so, it's just one of them things. Like I said, even on the D2 level, my guy Easton Bozzoli over at Union or Union University. I mean, there's scores of guys. And, a lot of times I like to attest that to Sonny and what he did for the round ball and bringing that to Pittsburgh. I mean, the guys that weren't football guys, we had the round ball, so you had to come to Pittsburgh. You was the who's who. So,
yes,
man. And, man, I'm definitely proud of what you're doing over there at Clayton State, man. You keep doing your thing over there. Tell me a little bit about Clayton State. Even though I know and most of Atlanta knows, tell us a little bit about Clayton State, man.
Yeah, I mean, we're about 25 minutes south of downtown Atlanta, D2 in the Peach Belt. I mean, arguably one of the top D2 conferences in the country.
Definitely.
I mean, right now we have Augusta and Pembroke in the top 25 in the country. So our region, to go further than that, is arguably one of the toughest regions in the country with the SAC, with Lincoln Memorial and Queens, and Catawba has been really good lately. And on top of our league, you got it's never ending. We're small, kind of a small, medium-sized university. Got about 7,000 students. Great location. 15 minutes from the world's busiest airport. So flying kids in makes it pretty nice, makes it pretty easy. But so not an old. The school's fairly new. I mean, 1969 it was founded. The basketball program in the late 80s. So it's all fairly new compared to a lot of other programs. So we're still kind of trying to build that tradition, the alumni base and all that. So tradition's been starting to come around. Hoping to get it back there sooner than later. So we'll see what happens. But it's exciting to be here, and I think there's good things in store here.
And if I'm not mistaken, Clayton State won the national championship one year, right?
The girls did back in 2011.
Okay. And the guys have been fairly successful in the past, 10, 15 years, right?
Yeah, Coach Gibbons was here 2 coaches ago, and he was here about 13 years, had the thing rolling, was through a couple NCAA tournaments. And then we had a coach here for 2 years who came from Wofford. He's now at Bucknell, and then Coach Link was here. When I got here, he hired me back in 6 years ago. And our first 3 years, we won the league twice. I went 24-7 in year 3 and finished top 25 in the country. And then 2 down years, and now trying to get back up there to where we were 3 years ago.
Okay. So what you looking like for this year? I mean, roster wise, what you looking like?
New. I mean, it was a tough year to have the pandemic for me in terms of, I mean, we got a whole new team at 3 returners. Only one actually played a lot of minutes last year. One redshirted, and the other one played little minutes last year. So on top of that, I got 8 new guys.
Wow.
And so everybody's new, you know, even the returners, they know how my personality is, but they didn't know exactly how things were going to operate and what we're going to run. So it's been a work in progress so far, trying to get them to understand what winning requires. But I mean, we made some strides last game. We're off to a slow start, but we had no scrimmages, no exhibitions, no preseason games at all. And
straight into league play.
Right. And our first 4 games, 4 of our first 7 games were against the top 4 teams in our league. So not easy into it or nothing. So, but you know, we're I would say young, but we're all new, so we're all still trying to figure out each other, learn the system, learn what I want. You know, defending is the big thing, trying to get those guys to understand. You know, you can control that. You can control what you can do on the defensive side. I thought last game, you know, we did that for the first time out of the 4 games. We finally sat down and guarded and came out in the short end. We had 27 turnovers versus USC Aiken. And
yeah, I like USC Aiken. I saw them play last year against Augusta. I like them. I like them.
Vanderslight's done a good job. This year's team, so when he was here, we're talking, you know, a little bit different than the last 2 years he had. This year, they're playing very well as a team right now. I thought it was good to watch for him. Obviously, not for me, having to play them this early. But he's done a good job over there.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, you guys play in one of the toughest D2 conferences. You know, to be honest, and this is a personal hometown question. I compare this to the PSAC, right?
Yeah. I mean, and PSAC's gotten a lot better over the years.
Yeah.
You know,
because IUP is a monster.
IUP is a monster. I know it's a little bit different. You know, those northern D2s to the southern D2s. You know, not taking away our academics, but the northern D2s are a lot more emphasis on the academic side in terms of the finances for scholarships and stuff. So, you know, those leagues, you know, the top heavy usually means that those guys get a lot more scholarship money. Yeah. Whereas the southern D2s, we're pretty balanced. You know, the Peach Belt, there's not too much difference from the bottom, the teams at the bottom consistently, or the top teams. We're all pretty consistent in terms of our money. In the SAC has a little bit disparity to the bottom, but it's a little bit different than up north.
Gotcha. So basically, I mean, and Chad pretty much answered this question as well. I see you down there at IMG grabbing folks too.
Yeah. It helps also the Pittsburgh connection, like you said, you know, Dan Bartow.
Yeah, he's down there.
And Billy Clapper, 2 Pittsburgh guys. Me and Dan actually played against each other in high school at rival schools back in Pittsburgh. You went to Shaler and I went to Seneca Valley. Okay. His dad was the coach at the time. And so, you know, Javier was the other one that Chad was talking about. I tried to get Javier up here last year as well with Tibor, but Javier had, like Chad said, had different options. He wanted to go back and see if he can get higher. Okay. But Tibor's been awesome. You know, he got cleared about a week and a half ago off that knee injury. Works his butt off. I mean, everyone around the department knows who he is, and the first thing they say is, "Man, that kid works hard." It's like, yeah, he works hard, and you know, that's part of the reason why he started last game. You know, it kind of worked out for him. I had a guy show up a little bit late to shoot around, who was starting, and Tibor had been busting his butt and starting to pick up on things just in a full go. About a week and a half he's been practicing, and all right, we'll start you, Tibor, and see. And he did pretty well. Played 35 minutes. So he did well if he played 35 minutes. He definitely played well because, you know, your job can't afford for people to be out there in you in experimenting mode. No. So, you know, he texted our trainer yesterday. He's like, Griffin, our trainer's like, he texted him, "Man, I'm pretty tired. Played 35 minutes." I was like, yeah, it was expected. Yeah. And, you know, the first game he played 14 minutes and then he right into 35 minutes. So, but he works so hard. Such a great kid. picking up on things well, and that's why he got the opportunity he got.
So, and just to ask, curiosity questions. You're big on the Atlanta area. I already know you're big on the Atlanta area. I mean, I know you're big on post grads. If it's available.
Right.
Do you ever touch up north or anywhere else?
I haven't. I've tried over the years. It just hasn't worked out that way. I mean, I used to go. I went up when I was at Tennessee Martin to the NEPSAC tournament. I've done the military trip, hitting up Massanutten and Hargrave and all those guys. And I don't know. It just hasn't worked out to where I've been able to get
Been
guys
able to catch
there.
one.
Right. So for some reason, it seems like the southern area, for whether it's prep or high school, have been good to me. So I had a French kid last year, Mehdi, who I got out of he was up in Virginia at a prep school, post grad school up there, Virginia, I think it was.
Okay.
And so he was the furthest north I had gotten.
Okay.
So try, it just doesn't work out.
Got you. So on the academic side, what does Clayton State offer and specialize in at Clayton State?
Yeah, the school is not like, I used to be at Lincoln Memorial and helped build that thing up, and you can get a lot of guys into school up there, whereas here we can't get just anybody into school. We got to have. It helps out now that they dropped the test requirement due to the pandemic, so it helps us out. But normally, you got to have at least a 2.0, but you got to have a SAT of a 930, and then you got to have a ACT. You got to have a 17 in each category: math, reading, and the composite. And so, in order to have a 17, you really got to have 18 and 19s in those categories. So, it's not a high academic school, but it's tough. It's not easy. Business is very good here. The education department, nursing's the other department area that's really, really high here. So, the business side is awesome. I think just being with our location, 25 minutes from downtown, you're in a major U.S. city where fortunately for us, there's a lot of companies that have headquarters here.
Yeah.
So they do a great job of our business department. Of part of their leadership program is bringing those CEOs and presidents of those companies to campus and talking to our students and at the business school.
Okay.
So we get to know those guys, and they eventually go to their place of work and kind of get to see what they're doing behind the scenes and learn and build that network, so that when it's time, whether it's 4 years from the time they get here or 10 years, whenever their time is up from playing basketball, they'll have those connections, hopefully to get a real job and move on to the next phase of their life.
Gotcha. Okay. Now, with you having those up north roots and being down south, this curiosity question: what do you see different style of play compared to up north and down here?
I actually got two northern guys on my team, two New Yorkers right now. One played at Dominican, the other one played at Georgian Court.
Okay.
And so I like to, ask questions and kind of ask them to see, since they actually played up there, to kind of see, because I have my perception and a little bit that I know of those leagues. And so I like to, I pick their brains to see, what they think the difference is. And, and it's kind of what I've expected, that a little more athleticism, a little more physical down here in the South, as opposed up there is a little more technical, not quite as athletic guys. The more athletic guys, I should say. That's really the two biggest things I think that separate the two.
Okay. So if I'm just going to go this route as well. If I have a kid and you're interested, why Clayton State?
You're going to come to a place that's building a family-oriented atmosphere. Once you come here, you're going to be a Laker for life. I think that I pride myself on that. Coming from Lincoln Memorial, that's one thing that I wanted to take. And being a big Carolina fan growing up, with Dean Smith and those guys, you always hear about the Carolina family.
Yeah.
And I think that's awesome. So at Lincoln Memorial, I still have a lot of guys, former players that hit me up. I talk to them. I go to their houses. A lot are in this area. So, that's big for me to start to build here at Clayton State. Already the alumni base that we have with basketball, some of them are still here in the area. Always were reaching out to invite them over to my house and try to meet up. You're going to get player development, a lot of film sessions on the court with my assistant and even with me. I think that's big. We're working towards playing fast. You look at our score so far, we're not there yet.
Okay.
Well, hopefully we're going to get there. But that's also a big, I think, part of a lot of guys want to play fast nowadays. And, we're that's the direction we're headed, kind of a 5-out style as well. Some rules in that 5-out system. But I think it's fun. You got to be able to, you come here, you're going to have to be able to take criticism, honesty. I'm big on that. I don't think you can't grow as a person or as a player if nobody's honest with you. And I think a lot of times kids coming out of high school and even the prep sometimes, their coaches haven't been honest. Their friends and family haven't been honest with them. They're telling them how good they are, but then they get here. And I tell them, no, you're not a great shooter. I don't need you shooting right now. It hurts their feelings, and if you can't handle that, then it's probably not the right spot for you.
Definitely.
That's another thing I think, the Pittsburgh side of me, we're blue collar. Pretty much everybody's honest up there. And I'm always going to be honest. Guys don't want to hear it, but it is what it is. And you're either going to grow and accept it or you're not, and you're going to leave.
I agree. Now, one of the things about the Peach Belt, and I think this is attractive for you guys as well. I mean, the Peach Belt is sending kids overseas to play professionally, man. Right?
Yeah, it is. It is. We've had our fair share of guys. We've had 2 guys just off last year's team. One off last year's. The other one was off the previous year's team that they're overseas. We've pretty much had one guy every year.
Really?
Go overseas. Yep.
And then I didn't even know that, I didn't know Clayton State was sending people. Yep. I mean, that's even bigger, because, we know the Augustas, we know the big boys, that UNC Pembrokes are sending guys. Because those are basically D1 transfers anyway.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
But, man, that speaks volumes for you, man. If you're sending kids overseas as well, man, that's big time there.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, we our senior last year, he's over in Armenia. And then we had a kid last year was our GA. He was a senior 2 years ago. He's over in Poland. We got a kid that has been in Australia. With one of our first players who went overseas. He's actually having a better career overseas than he did. We had him
in college.
Year. Right.
Wow.
So he's taken off, and then we had another kid that we inherited when we got here. He's over in England playing. So yeah, hopefully we'll continue to produce those guys and get. I think that's also a part. The talent level that we need to get are those guys that have that potential. Exactly.
People have to understand. And again, I harp on this, and if you watch the show, I harp on this, like, you can't look at D2 or D3 like, oh, it's not D1. They have pros out there that are playing that will kill you if you play them to the side like, oh, he can't play. Right. Yeah, he will kill you.
Yes, there's no question. Our level is, it's high level. We have, just like Division Ones, we have high D1s, mid D1, high D2s, mid D2s, and low D2s.
Yeah,
and it's just the way it is. And I said we're a high D2 conference, and
hands down. Hands down. I'll be honest with you. My assessment, your top 5 conferences, and in no particular order, definitely Peach Belt, the MIAA, the Lone Star out in Texas, the CIA out in California. What's the conference Lincoln's in?
SAC, South Atlantic.
Yeah, those 5 right there.
Yeah, I agree.
Those 5 right there. You could send low majors. Don't really want to play those schools.
No, they don't. They don't.
Because if they play them, they're going to be on ESPN. Oh, such and such got knocked off.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So, and people don't understand until So what we do with our AAU program, when we talked about this, that's why we start taking our kids to Peach Belt schools. Yeah, we take them to Kennesaw State and Georgia State, but we start taking them to the Morehouse, the Augustas, the North Georgias, and the first thing they said, hey man, this isn't bad. And we were like, we told you guys, this is real ball here.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, the only difference is you're playing in smaller gyms, and even the gyms in our league, most times.
Oh, yeah. I mean, they're nice gyms. Yeah,
Right.
hands down, they're nice gyms. I mean,
Yep.
when I looked at Augustus gym, I was like, shoot, this is better than almost every MEAC school that I can think of.
Yep. Yeah, North Georgia's got a brand new one.
Yeah, they got a nice gym too, definitely.
Yep.
So, like you said, facilities they're not shabby at all. They're
No.
very good facilities. So, people have to understand that you'll get the surprise of your life when you look at some low D1 facilities compared to, like you said, high D2s. Those are, quality facilities.
Yes, absolutely. They are.
But as you know, unfortunately, a lot of times it's the D1 or bust mentality. And sometimes people would rather sit on the end of the bench in the D1 instead of possibly flourish at a D2 or D3 because they want to play for that name on the chest, unfortunately, and it's not even a fit.
No, that and the pride, their buddy asked them, hey, where are you going to school? Oh, I'm going to Division II versus Division I. They feel embarrassed. Yeah, it's just.
But how embarrassed are you when you're getting on that plane 25 minutes from Clayton State to catch an international flight because you're playing overseas?
Exactly. And that's what you try to get through to kids. What's your ultimate goal? I mean,
what's the long goal?
Right.
And they'll say, oh yeah, I want to go pro, but in the short term, I want to be on TV.
Right. Yep. Yeah. A lot of those kids are going to a one bid Division I league. So NCAA tournament hopes, okay, great. But you're going to a league that only gets one team in it versus you come to a high D2, which is our league, we get 3 to 4 every year.
Yeah, exactly. And, we can harp and preach on that, but I don't know what it's going to take to get people to understand the quality of basketball outside of D1. Because now, as we've seen, even in the COVID season, you're seeing D2s knock off D1s, and it's not even a surprise anymore. I mean, they're putting it on the news, but people that are in the know, they'll be like, they're better than them.
Yes.
They're better than them. And, you want to preach that, and we can harp on it till we're blue in the face. But, people are, oh, my gosh, they beat them. Yeah, they're a lot better than them.
Yep, absolutely.
And on top of that, like you know as well as I do, they probably have about 3 or 4 D1 transfers on that team as well.
Very, very possible. Yep.
So, man, hey, Lance, like I said, this isn't the last time we're going to be talking, but man, I appreciate you coming on the show, man. I definitely had to show Clayton State some love. As Dr. Love said, we do got to stick together in Pittsburgh. We definitely got to stick together.
That's right.
But man, we'll be talking because I got some things to ask you anyway, outside of the show. But man, thanks a million for coming on the show. Man, anything I can do, man, let me know. And I definitely, you guys only allowing 100, right?
100, yep.
Yeah, save me one of those seats, man. I definitely want to see you guys play, man. And we'll be in touch real soon, man. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, Dave. Thanks for having me.
All right, man. You take care.
You too.
All right. Definitely, Coach Ignatz, good guy. Like I said. Definitely, Dr. Love. You definitely better be a grown man to play in the Peach Belt. And yes, we do stick together. But the Peach Belt, when I started going to those games, I was like, shoot. I've seen low D1 games, and there's no knock on low D1s. Man, a good number of those will get knocked off by some of the Peach Belt teams. Some of those MIAA teams, some of those CIA teams out in California, some of them Lone Star teams in Texas. Yeah, some of them don't want that smoke. Next up, my man, it's that time for everybody. It's time for that unsigned hype. Got my man Juke. What up, guy?
What's going on, Mr. Joe?
Man, just out here trying to make it, man. Trying to be big time like you, man. You the scout guru out here. I'm just trying to follow in your footsteps, man.
Hey, Mr. Jones, I wish I wore the Scout Guru, because if I wore, then I have a lot more people trying to get in where they fit in with me.
Hey, but you know what, Juke? One thing I can say that I'm proud about this, man. This segment is actually getting some kids on, man.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? Definitely proud about that. And man, I thank you for being a part of this, man, because when we first started talking about doing this, man, there wasn't no egos on either end. It was like, man, let's go ahead and get this and make it happen, man. And I'm just happy to see everything's happening, man. What you got for this week, man? I know you got some good home cooking, man. What you got out there for the prospect?
I'm so glad that I don't even know if you seen my email today, but I don't know if I got one of your kids, but I just say I've had this kid in mind for a while.
Okay.
And but I'm gonna get to him in a minute. But
okay.
I actually brought a 2023 kid on today.
Okay.
He's actually from I played against him last season when I coached against him at Monticello, but he ended up transferring to New County. So his name is Marcus Whitlock, but they call him MJ.
Yeah.
Like
he can go. Yeah, he can go.
And one thing that I always repeat this with Kawasi and Coach Burnett tell me: shooting translates on all levels. And this dude can shoot the ball. He can shoot the hell out the ball, Mr. Jones.
Okay.
Shout out to Pop Scout too, man. Pop Scout do a lot. They do a lot of work behind the scene. Him and Greenlight Media.
Okay.
Stanley. Let go. Stanley. Okay. Yes, sir. And don't nobody even know about this kid right now, but I'm telling you, man, he's still growing. He may be about like 6'1", 6'2", 6, maybe in that range, but he can shoot the ball, shoot the leather off it.
Okay.
Wow. Move too. And I hated he left. Cause I wanted to play against him again, but I don't even think we didn't even get to play Monticello this year because of COVID.
Okay.
But him being that new man, I'm telling you, when you able to shoot the ball on that level at 7A ball, it's only gonna help.
It's a different look. It's definitely a different look.
And you playing with Stephen Castle, Jakai Noon.
He's a monster. He's a monster.
The TJ Clark, one of the Clark kids. And let me think, it's another one. Oh, Marquavius Brown, like they.
Oh yeah, I like Marquavius. I like him.
Marquavius is from he's from where I'm from, like the region. I'm telling you, we got dogs all over.
No, I really like Marquavius. I really like him, man.
Marquavius is from around my area, like Morgan and Greene County. He's like in that area.
Oh no, I didn't know that. Did not know that.
Well, Mr. John, we got dogs out here. Coaches that don't come down here. We ain't even gonna get on that. That's on them. I gotta make sure the one that be coming in, they come in and catch those guys that I have out here. And we keep we keep the talent out here. Man, I'm going all the way to South Georgia with this one. Out of Valdosta, Stanley Halliburton. I can't never say Stanley last name, but Stanley is tough, man. I really want to see a lot of schools get on Stanley because he's athletic, he's a leader, and he's a dog on the court. And you have to be a dog playing 7A. A lot of the kids at Valdosta that play basketball, they don't get the recognition because of what? They always think it's a football.
The football, yeah. Oh, trust me, we know about that well in Pittsburgh. We know well about that.
He got a mid-range, can shoot the three.
And Valdosta came up here to was it Lemon Street? I think they came to Lemon Street.
For real?
Yeah, I think they came to Lemon Street. I know they came up here. If it wasn't Lemon Street, then it was.
They did. It was Lemon Street.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah.
They play you hard too, man. They play you hard. They play you hard the whole 32 minutes.
When I look at Valdosta is, you can tell some of them play football. You get what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So they play hard, and when they play hard, you know, it's a difference when you play guys that have a football mentality. Yeah, some of them may kill you, but man, when they play hard like that, that will wear you down. If you mix that with some hoopers, you got a problem.
Yep. You mix it with hoopers, and then you mix it with them being as physical and can really play. Oh man.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't even think Stanley plays football. I just think he's just a dog, man. And he gets it in on the defensive end of the floor too.
Okay.
I love a kid that can play defense.
Oh, we all do. We definitely all do, bro.
Like he kind of like, man, my favorite defensive player last year was Tyler Johnson, and he kind of plays defense just like Tyler.
Okay.
Tyler's at USC Aiken right now.
I like that team too.
Oh man, my next one is we talked. I listened on Love of the Game part yesterday. Not yesterday. Was it yesterday? Maybe
no, Thursday. Thursday night.
Last Wednesday.
Yeah. Thursday night.
Thursday night when they were talking about Texas, the Texas school. So I went out, found me a Texas kid that I told Dre I had already been talking about, and came out of Katy, Texas.
Okay. My sister lives in Katy.
Everett Marlett. Hey.
Okay.
Man, I don't even think he has any offers right now. And
Katy got some ballers too. That's where what's my man that plays for he plays for Sacramento, De'Aaron Fox. That's where he's from.
Man, Katy got some ballers, man.
Yes, they do. Yes, they do.
You know, Katy High School was real. They used to be ranked in the nation every year, and they might still do.
For basketball?
Mm-hmm. At one point,
now,
Katy basketball they had a long winning streak.
Now, if we're talking about basketball in Houston, you definitely always got to mention Houston Yates.
That's another school I remember about that. Yates too.
Yeah, Yates is really good, really good. But you know, with Houston being similar to Atlanta, you know, it's kind of like Atlanta now almost. I wouldn't say talent-wise yet, but the whole culture is getting there. Except where Houston is, I would say it's a little bigger on the football side still.
I agree. This kid is 6'6".
He's 6'6"?
Has an 1130 on the SAT and a 24 on the ACT.
And he don't have nobody. Is he a senior?
He's a senior. I think Everett's 2021. He might be 2022. He might be 2022. I'm gonna have to check that out again. I'm gonna have to check Everett out.
Okay. And then nobody looking at him?
Nah, it's not even.
With those type of grades and that 6'6"?
6'6".
Somebody better get on the train.
And I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Because I had two, but the other one, me and Drake couldn't get his film quick enough. So I had him on the show next week.
Okay.
I'm going back. I'm moving my way from Texas, going to Ohio. Check out Zion Marlin. Zion is probably one of my favorite kids I've covered this year. I had him on Underrated Gems. I've been trying to get coaches on them, even prep school coaches. I'm looking for those guys to get on Zion too. He will be a Division I player, either if he goes JUCO or if he goes prep. He's just that kind of kid, man.
Okay.
And he reminds me of Mardrez McBride.
Okay.
If nobody knows who Mardrez McBride is, he's at North Texas right now.
Gotcha.
Quick, get to the rock, shoot the
Okay.
ball, play defense. He hit me up yesterday, actually, too, man. And I wanted to make sure I put him on the show because kid like that deserves to be seen, man.
I agree. What's his grades looking like? You know?
I got to check, but I actually think he has like a 3.4, 3.5 GPA.
Okay. Yes, you are correct. Yes. I went there my freshman year, and then I transferred to another school.
Head fake. Lefty. Ooh,
Okay.
let's go.
Okay.
And they just recently beat up. It was a team that they played. They hadn't beat them in like 10 years. And they actually beat him with him playing. So, like, that's, you know, you have to make sure you let it be known about some of the kids that you have, some of the kids that are playing. And that kid he's going to be a steal. And I know they probably like, man, you always say that. But I'm never wrong. Until I'm wrong, Mr. Joe, then when I won't say it again. But right now, I'm not wrong right now.
Talk your stuff, Jude. Talk it.
You know, we see it. We, you know, even with the guys that like Locke talk about, Dre, like people better start listening, man. Like for real. This is like when you see Willie write some, or you see Kawasi, any of the guys that do write-ups, even Brianna from Hoop Scene, like you better pay attention, man. You know what I'm saying? You can tell, like,
definitely.
if you want a winning program and you want to get involved with the kids in Georgia, then you better talk to the right people. Before I got started, I had to talk to the right people. You know, I had to get my mind right to talk to the right people. As a college coach, if you're looking for players, you need to get with the right people that's gonna tell you the truth. And this is what we do. We're gonna tell you the truth. I'm going back to South Georgia. My last two kids are from South Georgia.
Okay.
Dominique Henderson. I didn't know if you had him. I seen somebody tweet about him on Hidden Gem Hoops. But Dominique Henderson out of Albany, down in Monroe. I think it's Monroe. It's somewhere down there in South Georgia. Man, when I seen this kid's film, like people been talking about this kid, man. But when I really just sat down and dissected this game, I don't understand why he don't have 40 offers right now as a 2022. Stop playing and go down to South Georgia, man.
2022 going to be a good year for 2022 going to be a good year, Juke, for Georgia, period.
Man, 22 and 23. Don't nobody want to talk about that 23 class.
Oh.
Hey, Drake, rewind that back, man. Stop playing with that, man. Stop playing with him. Don't play with him. Like Pooh Shiesty say, don't play with him. Hey, don't play with him, Drake. Hey, I'm telling you, man, this kid, hey, I like this kid, man.
He can play, man. He can play.
And that goes for like a lot of the kids in South Georgia. That's why schools like Chipola and Dodge City, that's why they're able to have great talent, because they come to South Georgia and get a South Georgia kid.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to have one. You know what I'm saying? That's just like anybody. Like Coach Tribby used to tell me when I was at Middle Georgia Prep. He was like, Juke, I got to stay on 85. You know, I got to stay on 85 because they were all the talented. And I understand that. I used to try to get Tribby Tribby would get one or two kids from outside of Atlanta to help with their program. He had sense. If you're looking for a kid to help with your program, whether it's JUCO or whatever, those kids in South Georgia have the necessary talent. It's a kid that's going to be at a JUCO that should be at a Division I program right now. And he ended up going JUCO because none of the coaches went down to see him. And they picked up a 6'7" kid out of South Georgia, and they picked up a 6'3", 6'4" guard out of South Georgia. When I get his film, Mr. Jones, I'm gonna send it to you. But my last one, speaking again of a JUCO out of Dodge City, Dodge Community College, Quadarius Thomas. We all know about Quadarius Thomas.
Oh, yeah.
So 6'6", sophomore year, and he's playing with Coach Jake Williams. I'm telling y'all now, coaches, if you don't know about Quadarius Thomas, he's an older guy, and he's from Georgia. 6'6", 6'7" dog. That's all I say. I think he averaged like 13 his freshman year.
Did he go to Salk before he went to Dodge?
Possibly. I can't say.
Okay.
I don't really know. No. He went to maybe he did.
Because I think he followed the coach out to Dodge. I think he followed the coach out to Dodge City, I think.
Man, listen. I'm not as familiar with a lot of JUCO coaches. Well, I'm not gonna say I'm not familiar, but like me and Jake, Jake had my little cousin. He had Martrez. He's a great coach, man.
Oh, definitely.
And he cares about his kids. You know, and Quindarius is going to be special, man. I just hope that a coach gives him the opportunity. I don't even know if he has any offers right now.
What?
I don't know that. I didn't ask, so I can't say. But like, you know, some kids, they don't post their offers. They just love to play basketball.
Yeah, that's true.
And this kid loves to play basketball, man. Remember Robert Perry.
Yeah.
And KD was just talking about Robert Perry the other day. You got to get a Georgia kid on your roster, man. No matter where you at, you got to get a Georgia kid on your roster.
And it's not like they can't play. I mean, shoot, hands down, they can definitely play, man. I mean, like I said, it took us coming outside of Atlanta. I mean, we all know what Atlanta is, but it was the fact that you, Kwesi, Chad Cook start opening my eyes, at least. I was like, man, there's some ballers out here. And I can't even speak. It wasn't until the coaches in Savannah and Thomasville start hitting me up like, hey, coach, I see what you're doing out here. You know, you need to come check us out. And when I start looking at tape, and I was like, oh, he right. He was the dude that they deserve, man. And, man, like I said, you all have been doing that, and I'm a believer now. Trust me, I'm a believer.
Hey, I'm telling you, man, like we talk about the Peach Belt, right?
Yeah.
So Augusta has a freshman that started for them right now out of Glen Hills, the John Whitehead kid. Maybe it's the Whitehead kid, or it's one of them. It was a freshman that started, I think.
Okay.
Look at Columbus State. Look at Christian Chambers. We talk about Christian a lot.
Man, he listen. Columbus State need to go to the bank because they owe money for what they stole when they got Christian Chambers.
Very much so. And see, when I talk about kids, Mr. Jones, and I talk about the recruiting landscape or how coaches don't listen, some of them, because Christian Chambers is one of those kids that I pushed for, and they were like, oh, okay. And then when he started having the senior season he wasn't trying to hear what everybody was talking about. He really went to where he was wanted. You get what I'm saying? Because relationships matter. So coaches are always thinking like, well, I'm going to wait on somebody else to offer him. What? That's why you lose out on kids. That's why you lose out on opportunities. Relationships matter to these kids.
That's a good point, man. That's definitely a good point, bro. You got any more kids?
Nah, we good. No. I think we got everybody. I want to make sure I say Quadarius the best for last for me, especially with what he has going on.
Okay. I got a few. One of them just made the cut this weekend off of his play, bro. Hey, man, let me tell you, Dre will speak to this one. We was up at the TSF Invitational, the post grad. Man, this kid came out of nowhere. I'm gonna save him for last. I'm gonna do my ladies first. I got 2 ladies. And Juke, when you see this one, you're gonna be like, hold on. She's a more controlled Jason Williams. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I'm going to go with Katie Ambrose out of Gulf Coast High School in Florida. Bro, she hit me up, and I was like, okay, let me see what you're talking about. Man, I was like, oh, she can play. And to be honest, she's not going to be a hidden gem after this year. And actually, she's 2022. Bro, she can handle that rock. She can handle that rock, and she will dime you up.
Oh,
Dime, I'm holler at you.
wow. She got in the office right now?
She's starting to get a lot of interest now, because of this type of play. But like you said, Juke, somebody should have been on her extremely early.
Man, I'm gonna hit somebody. I'm about to call somebody as soon as we get off the show.
Man, she can play. She can play. She has the handle. She can go to the cup. She can hit you off with dimes. The whole nine. The whole nine, man. I'm telling you. When I saw this one, I was like, when she sent me her stuff, and I was like, if I was a college coach, I'd be like, no, don't send this out. Don't send this out. If I was trying to get her, man, she can go, man.
Hey, that's crazy, Mr. Jones. I'm telling you, that's different.
Yeah, bro, I'm telling you. Got handles. She can lay it up. She got her lay package. She diamond cats up. She can hit the J. Man, and when I saw this, I'm scratching my head like, thank you. What can I say?
Send me that link to my email, Mr. Jones. You know I'll make some shake with her.
No doubt, man. I mean, yeah, she's the real deal, man. Look, if I was a teammate of hers, I would love playing for her because you're going to get the rock. You're going to get it, man.
Man, you know what? I remember I seen her. She actually sent me some stuff. Her whole name is on her Twitter page with 2022 on it.
Yeah, yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Yeah, and I actually got her saved for underrated gym segment for 22 girls.
Bro.
Yeah.
I was like, forget 2022. I was like, oh, she made the cut just off of seeing this, bro. For real. She can play.
I remember her. She's played like on like a USA type team too, doing like or something.
I know she played I think for the Tampa Thunder is her AAU team. And I'm thinking, whoever Tampa Thunder is, be grateful. Be grateful. She can ball.
Yeah, I need to see her. I need to look at that again. I think she's my friend on Twitter. So I'm gonna actually talk to her and see what she got going on.
Bro, she watching. She watching tonight. She watching.
Yeah. I had to look at her name. I don't forget too much. And I remember this now. I remember her now.
Yeah, bro. When I seen this, I was like, listen. I was like, she can play. I was like, and I like her as a guard because, Jukes, a lot of times we get tape of people just gunning. Nah, she's setting her players up. She play hard on D. She do it all. And coaches, if you haven't got in on this one, you need to.
You can't coach hard.
Yeah, exactly, bro. You can't coach heart and you can't coach effort. And those are things that it's something either you have or you don't.
Her vision is crazy though.
Yeah, bro. Thank you, man. I'm like, yo, like when she sent it to me, I was like, let me see here. Man, my eyes was like this by the end of the tape. I was like, oh yeah, she's on the cut. She's on the cut. So coaches, definitely you need to pay attention to this one. The next one got another young lady. She's from Ramsey High School out in Birmingham, another traditional powerhouse in Birmingham on the boys and girls side. Michaela Lumpkin from Ramsey. And just a touch real quick, what also kills for Katie, 4.5 GPA. 4.5 GPA, bro. Yes. But getting back to Michaela Lumpkin, she's a 2022 too, but not too shabby either, Juke. 4.1 GPA.
That's tough.
And Ramsey's known, and like going to Ramsey, that holds weight for colleges because of their whole curriculum. Their whole curriculum is tough at Ramsey. You just don't get into Ramsey. That's a school you got to test into.
So she's gonna have the grade. She just need the opportunity.
Oh yeah. And I would think I only saw a couple schools that were looking at her, and I'm like, what are we missing here?
They
Give
go
me
back
that.
to Amaya. They go back to Amaya Moss and Claire Davis.
Yeah.
Hey, out of all the girls we put on here, it ain't too many more that's better than Amaya Moss. And there's no disrespect to anybody.
Amaya is what, 2022?
2022, and she's only lost one game her since from junior to senior year.
Yeah, she's up at Cal, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she can play. She can definitely play. My next prospect is a high school prospect, 2021 guy. Shout out to my man Corey Black. This dude's he's going to catch some attention. I mean, he's already getting it. Travis Harper, man. He can play, man. People been sleeping on Travis Harper, man.
Juke Jim too. Remember that?
Yeah, he can play, man.
Don't play with him. Drake,
he's actually like since last summer, his stock is really starting to explode, and he deserves it, man. Definitely deserves it.
They still sleeping on that man, Coach. I mean, Mr. Jones. I don't know what they're thinking about.
Yeah, he can play, man. Yeah, I like him. He can play.
And one thing about it, they don't even go. Coaches go to Columbus and they go for football. But it is so many basketball athletes in Columbus, Georgia, that people don't even know about. And Travis Harper is one of those kids that if you went to Columbus, you're gonna want to offer him an opportunity to play college ball.
I like him, man. I like him. And as we both know, man, he has an excellent coach. Excellent coach. Shout out to Coach Black, man. That's my guy. And just to be real with it, Juke, he was instrumental in getting me to where I am today. Definitely instrumental, bro. Him, Huff, and my man Dre Gray up at UNC Greensboro. Them cats embraced me, man. And I have no shame in saying I would not even be close. And of course, my guy Dre, of course. Those four right there, if it wasn't for those four, man, it was Dre that dragged me into this because, and I've just been chilling since I've been out the game for so long. And he was like, man, you got to do this. And once I got into it, man, and start getting with the right, like you said, the right guys, it's sky's the limit, man. You know what I'm saying? Sky's the limit.
You got to get with people. You got to get with people that got the same heart as you.
Yeah.
And so when you start rocking with people that got the same heart as you, then you
good.
The first two people that I met or that helped me was Kawasi, and Locke. Like I didn't even know Locke, and Locke actually took me in, and then we found out about Willie because Willie from Greene County. That just elevated. And Sean, man, I can't forget about Sean and Jared.
Oh, yeah. And I mean, I can't forget about the Godfather. You know what I'm saying? I know I could call Sean or I could text him and he going to hit me back. You know what I'm saying? He going to hit me back with some knowledge. And, that's been instrumental as well. Definitely can't forget Sean, man. Sean, I appreciate him just like I appreciate the rest of the guys that I named, man. And to be honest, man, we lucky, Juke. We lucky to be in this situation to have those type of people that'll look out for you and embrace you. You know what I mean?
Facts on that.
Now, my last guy, man, I had to save this one for last. Hey, Juke, you can ask Dre about this guy. Shout out to my guy up there, Gravel Craig at Spire, man. Pittsburgh product again. So, Dr. Love, you got something to say? Hey, we do roll together. Me and Dre was up at the TSF Classic this weekend, and we saw this kid play against Central Point. You know, there's sometimes a kid can catch your attention and just you automatically gravitate to him. Me and Dre were watching the game, and by the end of the game, we was like, yo, Dre was already tweeting before the game was over, bro. I was still in fan mode, like, I like this guy. So he's starting to get some mid-major love, but this kid runs the offense like a general, can handle the ball, he can knock it down, and he's just flat out tough, man. Taj Stavitsky from Spire post grad, man. I know Dre got this one queued up because this dude can go. Roughly about 6 foot point guard, and people look at his status and may sleep on him. Juke, I'm telling you. I'll speak for Dre on this as well. We both will put our hat on this one.
Floater.
Bruh, he can play. I'm telling you, he can play. He'll dime you up the whole nine, man. He can play, bro. Tough, too.
Ooh, got him.
Left, holler at you. Knock it down. Give me that. Dime. Bruh, I'm telling you, if you would have seen what he did to Central Point, bruh, by the end of the game, we was like, look, I came out the stands and ran up to Gravel, was like, hey, man, this dude here can go.
Yeah,
he can go, man. I'm telling you. So, man, hey, Juke, we're going to keep doing our thing with this, man, because kids are getting on, man. What's up, Steve? Good to see you, brother. Another Pittsburgh guy in the house. The whole thing with this, Juke, bro, we're going to keep doing this, man. We're going to keep doing this. I mean, because, man, this is getting kids on, and this is what it's all about, man. That's just straight up, man.
I don't like missing an episode anyway, so, I be looking for some stuff, man, to find. But, like you say, though, like, we got to keep doing this in order to get coaches on. Like, hey,
yeah.
The one thing that I've known people to use forever, even now, is you can bring them, you can bring a horse to the well, but you can't make them drink.
Can't make them drink.
Yeah,
can't make them drink.
Like for me, when I post my YouTube videos, it's only about just catching that one. I just need one opportunity for the kid that I'm featuring. I'm not never trying to go out here and get a kid 20 offers because he can't go but to one school. So for me, true. I gotta go somewhere where a kid wants to. Where a coach loves the kid. I don't want to push a kid on a coach. I want the coach to call me and be like, Juke, I seen this kid on your film. I like him. Let me know what I need to do. Those are the kind of coaches that I deal with. If I send it to a coach and he doesn't answer, I don't take no ill feelings towards it, but I'm going to send him the next YouTube video just like I sent the first one. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So for me, like, we got to continue to do this because it's only going to take one coach. That's all we need. Whether it's a prep school coach, a junior college coach, or just mid-major, low-major, D2, NAIA, we're trying to get kids opportunity. And that's it. That's all I ever cared about. That's the only reason why I started BYB training or underrated gyms with Coach Juke, because of the fact that I want to be able to help kids. I didn't have that opportunity. I didn't have nobody that wanted to help us. I didn't have a Sean back in the day. So, like, now kids have opportunities. The one thing about it is the coaches have to want to build that relationship with us, too. Because, I mean, at the same time, it's some coaches that don't even bite, but we probably can help keep their job.
You're right.
No knock on anybody. I'm not, like, I don't beg for the attention. I just do my work. And I do my work with you. I do my work with Dre and everybody else. But a college coach is eventually they're going to be like, I got to talk to him. It's too many kids. Look at Mons at Wichita State. Dreads
Yeah.
at North Texas. DJ Wright
Yeah.
at Hampton Sydney. Hampton Sydney is going to continue to pull Georgia kids because of how they recruit. Remember, I
You're right.
said
You're right.
it's coming. Something big coming. You're gonna be like, how the hell that happened? Because
But
they coming
and you
in.
missing one other thing, Juke, as well. Outside of Atlanta being a hotbed, man, let's just be what it is, man. You got some great coaches. You got excellent AAU. You got some great tournament directors. Man, it's just the formulas here to make it happen, man. You got media. You got it all. That's right here, man.
Everything.
Yeah, you got everything.
Everything.
So, man, we're just going to keep rocking on this, man. And, like I said, I'm just excited and I'm glad to see this keep growing, which leads to the last part of our show as we wind this up. It's shout out time. Definitely got to shout out Sierra Foster, who was just on the show last week. Committed. Georgia College and State University. Committed. Congratulations.
Hold on. What school?
Georgia College and State down in Millersville.
Down there with Coach G?
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Oh,
Yeah.
Coach G pulled that off?
Pulled it off. She signed, sealed, and delivered.
I know we about to end this show, man. But I promise y'all, like Coach G is like my big bro. Because Coach G actually took a kid that I trained from Elberton, and he's at Georgia College with him right now.
You talking about Coach Gaines? No, this is on the women's side.
Oh, snap. I was thinking about Coach Gaines. I'm tripping.
Yeah. I know you was talking about Coach Gaines. Nah, this is on the women's side. But hey, bro, and yes, Coach Gaines is a good dude. Definitely a good dude, man. Definitely. Once I got to know him, man, I made sure I had that number locked in. One last one I got to shout out, Juke. Definitely got to shout out Jordan James from Kennesaw Mountain. Another offer, bro. Another offer. He had Oglethorpe. Now he got Rhode Island College, man. Shout out to my guy, Coach Eggleston up there, Irvin Eggleston up at Rhode Island College. Just offered him this week, man. Again, it's happening, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's happening. And, that's why we're going to keep doing this, man.
Got to.
No question.
Got to.
Any shout outs you want, man?
Nah, I just appreciate everybody that showed love to the brand, man. Make sure y'all follow Coach Juke on Twitter and YouTube. We trying to build and continue to build, so let's continue to work, man. That work gonna show, like I always tell you. So let's keep going. But shout out to everybody that supports not only me, but Hoops Hidden Gem, Love of the Game Pod, Off the Dribble, everything that's won Georgia. Appreciate everybody that does the work, man.
No doubt, man.
It looks easy. It looks easy, but it's harder than you think, man.
Yeah, it's true that. Definitely true. A lot of late nights, Juke. You know what I'm saying? A lot of late nights, a lot of early morning texts. We try to do stuff the last minute, you know what I'm saying? But it's happening, man. And, we just want to keep running with this, man. And, I just want to thank everybody for coming on the show, man. And, coaches are noticing. People from back home, I appreciate y'all as well. People from Birmingham, people from Georgia, North Carolina, every stop I've had, man, I appreciate y'all hitting me up and say, hey, man, I like what you're doing. I like the Coach Juke guy. Y'all keep doing y'all thing. Definitely appreciate all the love, man. This is for the kids, man. We just trying to make this happen. And, like we said, Georgia's here to stay. We here, man. We here. You know what I mean? So we're going to wrap up the show for tonight. One last thing I want to remind everybody, Periscope. Unfortunately, Periscope is going down in 2 months. So we're going to go with Twitter and we're going to go with YouTube as well. We'll probably look for another platform as well to keep pushing the show. Make sure you subscribe to Love the Game on YouTube, and you can watch on Facebook. We're on different platforms as is. But we got some more in the works that we're going to be working it with. So I appreciate all of you all. Definitely keep watching the show. Next week, we got some fire next week, too. We got Coach Gravel Craig from Spire coming on the show. I'm not sure about one of our guests. He may or may not be here. Prayers go out to him because I'm not going to mention no names. He contracted COVID. So, you know, he's battling that right now. Prayers out to him. And, and can't forget my man, Daryl Mosley from Lincoln University in Pennsylvania, CIAA Women's Squad. He'll be on the show next week as well. So like I said, Juke, we're going to keep building these relationships, bro. And people going to see what this is, man. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir.
So again,
Let's get it.
want to thank all y'all for coming out. Definitely won Georgia. We'll see you all next week, next Monday at 7 o'clock.
That work gonna show. Let's go.